Stephanie and I got married in 2009. I was 27 years old. I felt I had the maturity to make things work. I didn't know what to expect. I knew two things. One, I didn't want my marriage to end up broken like my parents, and I wanted to have a happy marriage. I quickly learned that in marriage, you can't run away from conflict or confrontation. It's simply part of living with another human being who will never be like you. I saw how the areas where I needed growth began to be exposed. The biggest area was not knowing how to deal with arguments in a healthy way, and believing that avoiding them would be the best way to be a peacekeeper. In my marriage vows, I said that we would not climb to the top to simply see our marriage roll downhill. About 5 years into our marriage, when my wife decided to pursue one of her passions and it consumed so much of her, I felt like our marriage fell from first to second place, which I didn't know how to handle. I was realizing how much my own happiness strongly depended on my wife. Then Pandora's box was opened and I started wrestling with poisonous feelings of rejection. And not long after that, I began to feel like there was a crack in our marriage that would not be fixed. I made really poor choices. I went from isolation to brokenness. On the outside, we smiled and seemed happy, but the reality was that no one had the slightest idea of how bad we were struggling. I didn't know how to get back to that spot of being in love and feeling happy, but we desperately needed help. The season of our marriage was not just a challenge, it felt like a dead end, and we couldn't find any hope. Even my faith was challenged. There was nothing other than my pain to hold on to. In the past, I had criticized people who had given up on their marriage, but here I was relating to anyone that's lost that battle. We went to counseling, but nothing got better. I didn't have any mentors to reach out to. To be honest, I didn't even know how to ask for help. I had never been transparent outside of marriage, and I got caught up feeling like a victim. Once I violated my wife's trust, I knew it was over. Everything in us was painfully broken. I felt like our wedding vows had been in vain. We didn't feel like best friends anymore. All we could do was point fingers. I had desire to build a marriage on something solid, but our hurts, along with isolation, caught up to us. I knew I couldn't live like this anymore. I had never faced the challenge of choosing to stay committed when everything had fallen apart. Even though it didn't hear like God heard our hearts cry, He did. When we heard about the Love After Marriage event, we knew we had to go try it. August 2016, we attended, and our marriage was rocked. We got the tools we desperately needed and began to build a marriage on the rock of truth. We were set free from lies, disappointments, destructive mindsets, insecurities, and unforgiveness. I no longer see myself as an orphan, and my past no longer defines me. God began to use all my disappointments, failures, and frailties to feel a new journey towards wholeness, where He is our first love. For the first time, we began to have the emotional, spiritual, and physical intimacy that we had always desired.